Alrighty. I was told that I have a short time now. Now that I talk so much during baptisms, I have a shorter time in my message. So I'm going to jump on this. We are in the last week of our series, Savage. By the way, if you're visiting us for the first time or watching online, my name is Efren Benya. I'm the campus pastor here. It's truly an honor to have you with us. And my heart and my prayer is always that God would inspire you and encourage you today before you leave here and give you an opportunity to live differently than how you came in this morning. And so, again, we are in our last part of our series, Savage. Savage is a series based on things that Jesus said and did that almost seem out of character for him. Moments where he comes up across maybe mean or dismissive and even aggressive. And at times, maybe even flat out savage. So what's the deal here, right? Are we misreading these stories, or have we kind of misjudged who Jesus really is? And who was he really, and why did he do the things that he did? And so we've gone through all these different statements and questions that he has brought about. And today, our final question is, did Jesus really spit in a disabled guy's mouth? I know, it's gross, right? But I want to share with you and dissect that a little bit, right? Let me ask you this. Can you remember a time that you needed help, that you were in desperate need of help, but the remedy, the solution, the help that came was going to be kind of so uncomfortable, maybe even embarrassing or risky, right, that you didn't feel like it was worth it? Like, man, I need help with this. I'm good. Thank you very much, right? Maybe your wife tries to talk you into a home remedy. Babe, I saw this on TikTok that if you take an onion and you put it in your sock and then put your foot in it, it's gonna pull out all of the toxins in your feet, right? And you start walking around like you just stepped out of Burger King, or you see a medication advertisement, right? Do you struggle with depression? Or ask your doctor about Lafadol, right? Side effects include nerve damage, loss of smell, partial paralysis, dry mouth, dizziness, extreme weight gain, blindness, mood swings, constipation, uncontrollable flatulence, hallucinations, like blue urine, and unusual hair growth. The results may vary. And you're like, what? What is going on here, right? Or you go to a trainer and you say, I need to lose some weight. I need to lose some weight. We're going to start. And the trainer comes back to you and says, well, listen, we're going to start with some jumping jacks, facing the treadmills where all of the young adults are running, right? So you're going to be sweaty and your fat's going to be jiggling up and down, and they're all going to be staring at you, right? But don't worry about it. It's cool. So what? They pull out their phones. So what, right? Listen, I just rather be fat in private. Thank you very much. Right? We don't want to do any of these because our thought is simply, I already have a problem. And your solution, though it is a solution, it's creating more problems. And that's not helpful for me. Let's be real, church. When the solution guarantees awkwardness, but not necessarily success, most of us would rather stay stuck. Right? We don't want that feeling. Sometimes we think that remedy's not worth it, and honestly, you're a jerk for even suggesting it, because that's not cool. That's not cool at all. We can wonder if the person really wants to help us or just wants to see if we're desperate enough to look stupid, to try something crazy. Is it TikTok or real worthy, right? Are they trying to embarrass or shame me? My girls love the movie The Parent Trap. But in the 1961 original version, which is not the version they watched, right? There's a scene where the two girls tell the lady who's about to marry their dad that that she can scare off a mountain lion by tapping two sticks together and making noise. They just wanted to see her do it. And when she does, she looks absolutely silly, and they're all laughing, all the way tucked behind, laughing behind her back. Friends, when someone suggests an out there solution to something, I sometimes wonder if that's what they're doing. If they're hiding behind someone or behind the wall and just laughing as we tried what they suggested. It's bad enough when people don't like you, people who don't like you do that to you, let alone people who are supposed to be there and care for you. Is my family really trying to do what's best for me, or are they just trying to do what's best for them? Is this really the best option for me, or just the easiest thing for my doctor to prescribe for me so that they can move on to the next patient? Do they know this is going to work, or are they just guessing? Is this something that they found on Facebook and decided to give it a try? Because the truth of the matter is, I don't want to be someone's experiment. Friends, do you ever feel like maybe that's what God is doing to you? If you go to him for help, he's just as likely to shame you or make you look silly. That he takes some weird pleasure in making life hard on you or embarrassing you for his sake. Is that what God is like? When you look at certain stories from the life of Jesus, sometimes it can look that way. It can be interpreted that way. It can be perceived that way. Like this one in Matthew 7:32, where a deaf man with a speech impediment is brought to Jesus for healing. So this man is not only is he deaf, but he also has a speech impediment. Not the best combo pack here. That would have been hard. That would have been a hard life to live, especially back then. Imagine going your whole life not feeling understood by people and not being able to fully understand them either. He's trying harder than anyone else he knows to really hear and understand the people in his life. But it's of no use. Because he's deaf. Like he can't express what he wants to express because he has a speech impediment. He misses most of what they're saying. He cannot hear them. He doesn't understand them. He always feels on the outside of what's going on around him. He can see people laughing, but he doesn't know what the joke is. He can see people crying, but doesn't fully understand the situation that's unraveling before him. Think of the distance that he must have felt in any of the groups and any of the people engagements that he had. And maybe you're here today and you felt something like that as well. Think of having so much to say but not being able to talk. Communication is complicated enough as it is. We don't always know how to say what we mean. Or we do, but we feel like people aren't really listening to us. That they're not hearing what we're trying to say. Ever have someone cut you off and say, oh, I got it, and then change the subject or give you some unhelpful piece of advice, and you're like, dude, you don't even get it. You weren't even listening. You couldn't even hear me. That's this guy's whole life. His whole life. So a crowd brings him to Jesus and begs Jesus to heal him, which seems nice on the surface, and it probably was. It doesn't mean that it wasn't embarrassing. Imagine everyone you know being like, listen, you really got a problem. You really got a problem. Anyway, we've been talking about you. We've been talking about you, and we all agreed that you should go see someone for help. We? Yep, all of us, right? In fact, we're going to take you right now. No questions. We're going to just take you right here, right? But no, doesn't matter. We're going to take you. It kind of bothers you when people around you are always trying to fix you, no? With the people you call your friends, maybe it's your family members, and they always got something to say about you because they want to fix you. Or I have a friend that can help you with that. Oh, I know someone that can fix this for you. Oh, let me do this for you. Obviously, you don't know how to do this. They're always trying to fix you, even if it's something that you don't like about you, or you're frustrated about, or know that you need work on. Most people don't want to feel like they're somebody's pet project, right? I am not your pet project. You don't need to try to fix me. In fact, I would guess that many of you here are way more willing to help others than to help yourselves. Because that's humbling. That's humbling. And to you, it just feels humiliating. Like, I'll go help someone else with their issues, but I don't want to address my issues. I don't want nobody to help me with mine. But if you think this part is awkward, then you haven't seen nothing yet, because let me read you what transpires next. In Mark 7, chapter 7, verse 33, it says, Jesus led him away from the crowd so that they could be alone. He put his fingers into the man's ears. Then, spitting on his own fingers, he touched the man's tongue. Yeah. Like, Jesus, that you? Like, really? This guy may not be able to hear or talk, but he could definitely taste. And what he just got was a mouth full of earwax and saliva. In fact, the only person that I understand that this could be cool with is Shrek. Right? This man just got earwax and saliva. I'm going to just say it. That's weird and disgusting. And you think that's cool? Wow. If you're going to put your fingers in a disabled guy's ear and spit in his mouth, I get why'd you go around the corner, right? Like, because it says they went off to be alone, away from the crowd. Why? Because that sounds a little bit humiliating. Sometimes my kids don't even like me, like, putting my arm around them. It's embarrassing me. Stop, people hear that. But that's not all. In Mark 7, verse 34a, says that he looked up to the heaven and he sighed. Jesus looked up to the heaven and said, what's that about? I don't know. I interpret him as thinking like, well, here goes nothing, right? Neither, let's keep reading. Verse 34b says that he sighed and he says, be open. Be open. Weirdly, this is one of the only Aramaic words in the book of Mark. It's also the only word in this story that sounds like you're making fun of someone with a speech impediment. Not a good look. And I'm sure Jesus took at least a couple of his disciples with him for this healing. That's why we have a record of it. That's why they found in different chapters. People wrote about this, right? And can imagine his disciples saying, "Oh, okay, Jesus, what are you doing? Oh my goodness, Jesus. You just put your finger in his ears and then you put it, that's disgusting. Like, that's a little bit over the top, Jesus." Right? And I think when we read these stories like this, we take for granted what's happening, right? We take for granted that what's happening is going to lead somewhere good. But for the people inside them at that very moment, the people that are going through this, that's happening in real time, right? They have no idea of what's going to happen. We read the book. We know that Jesus is a miracle maker. We know that Jesus is doing some incredible things. We know that Jesus is a healer. We know that Jesus is a restorer. We know that there's nothing impossible for Jesus to do. But at that moment in time, I am deaf. I'm mute. I cannot speak. And here comes this man, and he's putting his finger in my ear, right? And he's putting it in my mouth. And I just wait this, like, what is going on here? Think about it. Jesus can heal people any way that he wants. Why this way? Like I would have been okay, Jesus, slap him, and all of a sudden he can hear and talk. Right? That's quick. You're stunned a little bit, in shock, like, oh my God, oh, I can hear. Oh, hey, let's talk. Right? But at that moment, he took the finger and he put it in the ear. Like, why this way? In a way that seems so unnecessarily insulting, frustrating, and humiliating. There were times Jesus just said the word and they were healed. There were times that he never even touched them, that he wasn't even near them or even in the same city as them. When there are so many amazing stories about Jesus floating around, you have to want one of the fun or impressive ones. But this is what you get. This is what you get. Human earplugs and spit in your mouth. I think I would have been tempted in the middle of it all and say, you know what, I'm done. I'm good. I'm good. Not that you can understand anything I'm saying, but I'm not. This is the symbolic sign of this is crazy. This is cocoa for cocoa, but like this ain't happening, right? Ever bailed on something God asked you to do because you were uncomfortable with what it required of you? I'm sure there were some of you that have been there. That's going to take too much time. That's going to cost too much money. That's too embarrassing. I'm going to look stupid. People aren't going to get it. What if it doesn't work? I know this guy was glad he didn't do that. I know this guy was glad that he didn't step away from Jesus and because of what happens next. In verse 35, instantly the man could hear perfectly and his tongue was freed so that he can speak plainly. Friends, I wonder what sort of healing is going to require your humility. I wonder what miracle you are missing out on because you don't like his method, the way he wants to do things. What humbling thing you won't do for a breakthrough. I don't want anybody else to know, Pastor. I don't want to admit how bad it is. I don't want to go to therapy. I don't want to ask someone for accountability. I don't want to have to submit to someone else's authority. I don't want to have to commit to this discipline. I don't want to confront that person. I don't want to do anything other than what I'm already doing. Friends, listen, if you don't want to exert effort, be inconvenienced, or feel embarrassed, don't ask for a miracle. Don't. Because God is in the business of doing incredible things in your life. He is a miracle performer. Who cares what do you got to do to get that miracle that you've been asking God to do? Who cares? And if you're the one who cares, then don't ask for the miracle, because it is not really what you want. Because that's often the price of admission. Healing is a gift, but it isn't free. It will cost you your pride. It will cost you your pride. It's going to cost you something. The reason healing comes packaged in something that you don't want to do is because if it's something you wanted to do, you would have already done it. This is also the reason people often have to hit rock bottom before they ask for help. They're going to try everything under the sun except for what Jesus or what God is asking of them. Friends, most of us would rather lose our relationships, our health, our jobs, and our money than embrace humility. We would. You mean people are going to see me pray? You mean people got to see other people put their hands on me and pray for my healing? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. You mean I got to lift up my hands and worship? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It means I got to go to church on, what if, like, I got to tell my friends, my family that I'm going to be late to the picnic, the family picnic, because I got to go to church. Oh, I don't know. That's embarrassing, letting them know. That's embarrassing, letting them see. Friends, you trying to fix what's wrong on your own right now is not a sign of superiority. It's actually a sign of stupidity, a sign of silliness. You trying to do it all on your own, not coming to God for him to step in and intervene and do what only he can do. I don't care how old you are, how educated you are, or how long you've been a Christian. If you are not actively asking for other people's help, you're not more spiritual. What's actually happening is you're missing the point here. I get that you've got your baggage. And what you need isn't just to try harder. It's a full-on miracle that you need in your life. But here's the thing. God won't force help on you that you're being resistant to. You have to want and willingly participate in your own healing. You got to be in the equation, friends. And when I say healing, I'm not just talking about broken bones. I'm talking about broken hearts. I'm talking about broken relationships. I'm talking about broken dreams, about broken promises, and about broken perspectives. God is in the business of healing. God is in the business of miracles. God is in the business of restoration. He's in the business of salvation. But you got to be willing to be a participant. He will do it in your life, but you got to be a willing participant. And maybe you're like, okay, I'll do something uncomfortable as long as I know it's going to work ahead of time. Sure. Go ahead, put your hand on my head. You can pray for me. Not long, though, not long. And turn that way, because your breath needs a mint. Friends, this guy didn't know that because Jesus had never done this before. He had never done this before. There weren't stories being spread of Jesus sticking his finger in people's ears and their mouth. And he had never done this before. And as far as I can tell, he never did it again afterwards. But here's the thing, God isn't random. He has a reason for everything. The frustrating part is that he doesn't always let us in on it. He doesn't always let us in on it. You know why Jesus healed this guy this? You know why Jesus healed this guy this way? Anybody? Because I don't know. I don't know at all. And guess what? Theologians don't know either. Spit had a couple of opposing connotations in this culture. Typically, spitting on someone was a sign of disrespect or even contempt, a way of communicating that they were defiled, untouchable, or unclean. But in certain cases, a defied leader, like an emperor or spiritual teacher coming off of a fast, was thought to have healing properties in their saliva. With some people, there maybe assume that Jesus was disrespecting this man. Sure, maybe. Was Jesus possibly trying to demonstrate that he was a deity and a spiritual leader worth trusting? Probably. Was there something else going on that applied specifically to this man's story? Very likely. Do we know what it is? No. Some scholars think that Jesus put his fingers in the man's ear and grabbed his tongue to communicate to him without words what he intended to do. It's possible. I wasn't there, you? No. Could he have gone there in a less weird way? Oh, yeah, highly probable. I would agree to that. But what's clear is that Jesus is doing things different to capture the man's attention and get him to think differently. We're fine when God does that to other people. We just don't like it when he does it to us. What might be necessary for God to get your attention? Have you ever asked yourself that question? What does God need to do to grab my attention? Here's what I can tell you. God will never ask you to do something difficult alone. He will never ask you to do something difficult alone. The biggest takeaway here isn't that God is like, listen, you need to do something, some really hard things to get better. That's not what God is saying here. What he's saying is no matter how hard or what hard things you're facing, I'm going to be in the trenches with you, empowering you to do what you could do, right? Empowering you to do what you can do, not do without me. Me being there doesn't mean it's going to be easy for you, but it would be impossible without me. Check this out. The core message of Jesus isn't get it together. It's not get it together. It's I am with you and for you. That's his message to us. It's not snapping his fingers like, come on, dude, let's go, get it together. What he's saying is, I am with you and for you. You do not disgust you do not disgust me or repulse me. I'm not afraid to touch you. I'm happy to help you. I've been waiting for you to be ready. I've been waiting for you to say, Jesus, step in. I'm here. In fact, that's what the entire chapter is about. It's the story after story of Jesus taking something that everyone thought was wrong and doing something right with it. They're not washing their hands before they eat. They're starving. They're not upholding all of the rules. You're missing the point of all the rules. They're doing it the wrong way. Your heart is in the wrong place. Those people don't belong here. Those are the people that I came for. Those aren't the kind of people you want to be seen with. I'm here to show him he's not alone. Every time they opposed, Jesus corrected. Because we see this over and over and over again in the stories of Jesus. The more crushing the person's circumstances, the closer Jesus came. The bigger the situation, the harder the battle, the closer Jesus came. And friends, I want to tell you that this is still true today. One of the psalmists wrote this about God, and we see this living out in his story. Psalms 139 tells us that I can never escape your presence. We can never escape his presence. His presence is always around us. The guy in the Jesus story, would have been told his whole life that the reason he had these issues, these problems, is because he must have done something to deserve it. Your death, you have a speech impediment because you did something wrong. You deserved it. And we don't know how he got this way or what happened. Maybe he brought it on himself. Maybe he didn't. But that's not important here. What's interesting is that Jesus doesn't seem to care. Doesn't seem to care. It doesn't matter how you ended up where you are. What matters is that I'm going to help you where you at. So let me wrap this up this morning. I'm going to help you where you're at. I'm going to step in where you have a need. I'm going to do something for you that you cannot do for yourself. And yes, it might be awkward. And yes, it might be weird. Friends, I don't know what kind of dark season you're in today, at this moment, right now, in this season of life. I don't know what kind of living hell you feel like you're stuck in. Maybe you've been dealing with something for so long that it feels like it's just going to be like this forever and ever and ever. And maybe you feel like God has forgotten about you or doesn't care about you. Maybe you've been led to believe that you've got to fix yourself first before you can come to God. Maybe you've been trying to hide from him because you're afraid of what he's going to say or do to you. But the words of the psalmist and the actions of Jesus both show us that God is there for us in the middle of our darkest moments, and he wants to heal us. He wants to heal us. And it's most likely going to be a process. And it will probably be a humbling one. Not because he's trying to humiliate you, but because getting your pride out of the way is an unavoidable step on the path to wholeness. And not only does Jesus do this for you, but he wants you to do this for someone else. John 13:34 reminds us to love like he has loved us. To love like he has loved us. So this is what I want to challenge you with this morning, for this entire week. I want you to spend time with others avoid. Spend time with someone others avoid and remind them that they matter. That they matter. That they are important. Can you imagine if this became what people thought about when they thought about Christians? Man, Christians are some loving people. They care about what I'm going through. They're willing to grab my hand, put their arm around me in the situation that I'm in. In fact, some of them, I heard this crazy story. They put finger in the ear and they're willing to do that for me. No crazy, but if it works. Friends, I'm going to ask you to stand this moment with me. I'm going to do something we haven't really done in a long time here. If you find yourself in a dark season, a dark moment in life, I want you to just come to the front. Just come to the front here. There are things going on in your world at this moment that you cannot physically do. You cannot do it on your own. You haven't found a solution. You are struggling to get out of. You haven't found a way out. I want you to just join me in the front. I'm not going to ask you what that situation is. I just want to posture my heart and my prayers along with you. There's no shame in this. We're not singling people out this morning. We're not saying that they are not as good as you or they don't have their life together. But I'm sure that there are people today, this morning, that came to church and they have a weight on their shoulders, things that they cannot control, things that they're trying to find a solution for, things that they're trying to figure out, and they just haven't been able to turn the corner. They haven't been able to find someone to partner along with them. They haven't been able to surrender it because they're afraid of what other people are thinking. They're afraid of what people are going to say about them. I want you to join me this morning. There's no shame in that you don't have everything together. Because I bet you everyone in this room cannot say that they have everything perfectly going right for them. Maybe it's the fact that you're not getting God right now. You don't get how he operates. You don't understand everything that you're reading about his word. And you're trying to figure out, man, should I trust him or should I not? Will he come through or will he not? Am I going to step out and something's going to happen to me? Man, I have issues. I have concerns. I have questions. I have doubts. Maybe you have an issue with a coworker. Maybe you have an issue with a family member. Maybe you have issue in your own family and you're trying to figure it out, but you pretend like it's okay, it's all right, it's no biggie. I want you to come up and join me. I believe with all my heart that God can. I believe with all my heart that God will. I believe with all my heart that God is willing and able to do something incredible in your life, but you have to be a willing participant in it. You can't keep sweeping it under the rug thinking that it'll go away. And maybe that's been you. You've been sweeping it under the rug thinking, if I pretend hard enough, I won't see it, I won't hear it, and maybe I won't trip over it. but that hasn't worked for you. I want you to come and join me. I'm going to begin to pray for everyone, and if you feel led to come up, whenever you want to come up, you come up. Again, I'm not going to ask individually what each and every person is going through. I have faith enough that God knows and He sees. But I want you, for those of you that everything's going well for you, I want you to have faith and pray alongside of me for these people up in the front. In fact, I put my heart and my own self in this line, because there are things that I'm going through that I'm trying to figure out that I don't have answers just yet. And sometimes my pride gets in the way. Because what others might think of me. Oh, because he's the pastor. Nothing is going wrong in his life. He has it all put together. For those of you in the front, my heart is here with you. Let's pray, Lord.
I just want to take a moment and say thank you for watching our service online. Whether you're watching it for the first time or you're watching it again because you enjoyed the service so much from the weekend, I'd like to take a moment and dive into our giving. Every week we give people the opportunity to give back and give to the local church so that God can continue to bless your lives and bless your finances. Here at South Hills, we believe that everything comes from God. We believe that He's the one that chose us and brought us into this world, gave us our gifts and talents and abilities. And I just want you to know that when we give, we are giving back what God has already given to us. If you've ever seen any of our envelopes at a South Hills campus, you'll see on there that it says, every week at South Hills, your generosity is giving people the opportunity to live a better story. And there's a scripture on there in Matthew chapter 6, verse 21 that says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So I want to encourage you today to click down below and set up your giving, whether it's for the first time or whether you're doing reoccurring giving. We have 4 ways to give here at South Hills. 1, you can do it in person at any of our campuses through an envelope. Or 2, you can actually text any amount that you would like to 84321. And the 3rd way is to download our Church Center app. I encourage you to do this one because the Church Center app gives you opportunity to stay connected with our church and your campuses. It's a great tool and resource for you to know what's going on. And the 4th way to give is to give online. You can go to southhills.org/give and you can set up your giving there. Whether you're a guest of our church or whether you are a member of our church, or whether you simply just like to watch our services, I encourage you to trust God with your finances so that He can bless and anoint your finances, and you can be trusting God in this journey of living life to the fullest. I love you, and thank you for watching our online service today.